Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 151. And there's a bunch of shit that's been on my mental for the last like 3, 4, 5 days. But what we're gonna talk about today is, man, sometimes you gotta let people go. You gotta let people go because of as I get older, and I'm starting to realize, man, a lot of people just been growing older. My dad told me something when I was 19. And he told me this at a time in my life where I was fucking up. You know what I mean? I was in college. I wasn't doing that well. And I was out here doing stupid shit, right? You know? And it wasn't nothing illegal. It just like I was fucking up my future, you know? And I think that particular night or whatever it was, my parents were supposed to go to a wedding or something, whatever it was, and I decided to go to the movies with my boys. Long story short, it didn't pan out well. My father was pissed and kicked me out the house that night, rightfully so. Came back the next day. Actually, came back the next night, and I was in the process of packing up my shit, and dad goes, "Hey man, where you going?" Like, yo, I'm leaving. He's like, "No, you're not." He's like, "Sit down, man." He's like, "I gotta talk. We gotta talk." And I was 19, bro. Thought I knew it all. Didn't know shit, you know. And he told me something I'll never ever forget. He said, "Man, there are two types." And this is a 2 hour conversation, right? I don't know what what else was said that night. I just remember this. He said, "Man, there's two types of people in this world. Those who grow older with wisdom, and those who just grow older." He's like, "What does that mean to you?" And he would ask me questions like this just to test my mental, right? And I kind of sat there. I don't know how long I sat there, but I know it was quiet for a while. And then I answered the question. I said, "Those who grow older with wisdom learn from their mistakes, and those who just grow older keep making the same mistakes." And not just with people around me, but myself too. Um, yeah, and it's it's interesting when you're dealing with something like that, and as you get older, you realize what he was. I realized what he was trying to tell me, man. It's like what he was trying to tell me is that be mindful of what you're doing, man, because it's like you know you don't want to be them, that dude who makes the same mistake over and over and over. Um, and it's true. A lot of people I know are just growing older. Growing older. They're not growing wiser. They're not. They're not being more patient. They're just literally growing older. You know, and they still have the same mentality. And even in some of the situations that I'm in, um, even with girls, like, before I would try to be like, let's say I was romantically interested in this girl, right? Um, and she would be like, "Well, I don't know what I want, this and this and that. Well, can we be friends?" And my ass is so desperate for attention that I would be like, "Yeah, we can be friends," thinking that it was going to be something else and when it wasn't, right? And I end up investing time in this individual, and it doesn't work out, you know. And it's real shitty when it happens because I don't want to say that you don't see it happening because you see it happening, but you don't want to recognize that it's happening. And when it happens, it's like, damn, okay, but you really can't get mad at that because she told you in the beginning that she doesn't know what she was looking for. But what she really meant was, um, I know what I'm looking for, it's just not with you, but you're a cool dude. Or like I've hooked up with girls who you know, did the whole thing, hooked up multiple times, boom, 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 but then they want to get mad about how they're treated. And I'm like, Ma, what do you want? Because it's yeah, we did the physical thing, but there's nothing else here. Because every single time I try to connect with you on a different level, it wasn't popping off. So I gave off the energy that you was, that you was sending out. And it's like a lot of the times, man, people will sit there and not realize that they're the cause of their own issues or what they have going on, right? And it's sad because it shouldn't be like that, but it is what it is. I recently had this one girl. I said, "Yo, like we was talking on social, and actually, we I had met her on social, and then I had, then she had given me a number after like a couple of days of talking. I was okay, cool, and uh, I said, hey, well, like, like, well, like we was talking about kicking it, this and this and that. I was like, yo, just let you know, when I say kick it, I don't mean sex. You know what I mean? I just want to point that out there because a lot of people will misconstrue that saying, oh well, he just wants to smash. I mean, yeah, but not right off the bat. You know what I mean? I actually want to get to know your name first. Know some shit about you before I do that. And so yeah. And then she goes, yeah, well, like we can be friends, this and this and that. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. Because again, she told me, I don't know what I'm looking for, but we can be friends. Like, no, I told her, I responded back by saying, um, I'm cool. I got enough friends. Take care of yourself. Happy holidays, and that was that. Deleted the number and everything, cause I don't have time for that, man. And like, I don't have time to be that dude, you know. Especially when you tell me that you don't know what you want, what you're telling me is that you don't know what you know what you want. You just want somebody as around as a safety net to do that. And I've been through that before, and it's and as you guys can go back and probably look at several podcast episodes, and it doesn't take long to figure that shit out, right? Um, and I think that's the most infuriating part is when you treat people how they treated you, they don't like it. When you give them the same energy that they've given you, they don't like it. I was recently had to cut some ties with some people, man. And one of the people I had to cut ties with, y'all know her. She's my best friend, or she was my best friend. And I had asked her a simple question, and she laughed in my face about it. I was like, okay, so I responded back like, damn, it's hard to believe that we was best friends at one point. Cause now look at us. You can't even answer a simple question. And then she went back and forth, yada yada yada. I just said, yo, take care of yourself, and blocked her and everything. Deleted the number, and kept it moving. Because I don't have time to sit there and waste time with people who just grow older. I get it. I'm a lot. I motherfucker. I know I'm a lot. But at the same time, it's like if that's the case, then I think at the end of the day, if I'm a lot, then there's a door. Don't let that that rectangle entrance hit you on the way out. You know, I am who I am. You know, I'm trying to be more tactful with certain in certain situations. But there are some situations where I just look at it like, fuck, bro, like how can you not see this shit? Or how come or I know people who've been trying to make situations work for years and years and years. I was like, yo, it doesn't work. What you're doing, the other person doesn't want it. Or like if they keep entertaining dead situations and then they wonder why would you go, how come so and so don't leave me alone? It's like, why would he? Or why would she? Why would they leave you alone if you're entertaining that? You obviously telling them that you like it, you know? Or I've been in situations where I've been, unbeknownst to me, blocked, unblocked, blocked, unblocked, blocked, unblocked, blocked, unblocked, blocked, unblocked. This is like the fourth or fifth time, right? And I'm like, I remember telling the shorty, I was like, yo, who was doing all this? I was like, uh, why do you keep on blocking me and blocking me? It's like, if you can't stand a nigga, leave my ass blocked. I mean, it's simple, right? I mean, most people would be like, yeah, it's simple, you know? And but then again, I'm in that situation. I was dealing with somebody who was emotionally unavailable. I was dealing with somebody who tried to be emotionally available, but she didn't know how to do that, and it showed up in multiple ways, man. And I think a lot of times, man, you have to let people go because they're not worth them taking up space, um, taking up space in your head, taking up, you know, they don't rate anything at all. And I had a really good friend of mine tell me that he's like, bro, you know, this person doesn't rate memes, she don't rate no music, she don't even rate your friendship, bro. I mean, because if that's how she's gonna move, or whatever it is, then fuck her, you know. And I gave him the same advice back, you know. I was like, yo, it's like the same thing you told me. You gotta implement. You have to implement it for yourself, because there's no point in you giving advice if you can't take it. You know, and like we're all guilty of doing that too, where we just don't know how to move on from a situation, and it's like, okay, um, yeah. And I think at the end of the day, what's really unfortunate is that people will ruin genuine connections simply based off the fact that they're not mentally or emotionally ready for them. You know, because like I said, I know I'm a lot. I definitely know that for sure. But the one thing about me is that if you got me in your corner, I'm there for I'm hey, I'm there for however long you want me to be there. You know, I'm never going to switch up on you. I'm never going to change up on you unless you do some fugazi shit to me first. I'm gonna look at you like you ain't had to do that. You know, you know, like you didn't have to switch up on me like that. And I think that's where a lot of people, they don't understand the impact of what they do to other people. You know, or the emotional hurt that comes along with that. I've been in situations with women where I'm like, I'm afraid to open up emotionally and be vulnerable because of what happened to me before. It's like, yo, are you gonna somehow use this against me in a later situation down the road? And how do I combat that? How do I challenge that? How do I deal with that? You know what I mean? To be so there's so many different avenues that people can take the information that you gave them and they can use it against you. I'm not saying that it's an excuse not to be vulnerable, not to be emotionally available, because there's a difference. You know, there's a difference between being emotionally available and being vulnerable. You know, and I'm not gonna tell you what the difference is because y'all are adults. Y'all can look it up. You know, like y'all can look. You know, and you can come to your own synopsis of it, right? But being emotionally available is a great thing, bro, because human beings, we're not built to go through life alone or go through life not feeling our emotions. Um, it's like there's one girl I was talking to for like a week, and I got this rule that I have for myself. Other people can implement it themselves, right? The rule is, unless I've known you beforehand and I get your phone number, I don't save your contact information. I don't. Um, so let's say I meet you somewhere, whatever it is. Like you give me your number, I won't save it to my phone, but your contact information will be in a text message somewhere. So until we hang out, until we go out, whatever it is, then I'll save your information. You know. Um, so This one girl, she would text me, good morning, this and this and that. But I'll text good morning back, whatever. And a couple of days goes by, and so me and her talking, and she on the phone complaining about work and everything, and yada yada yada. And then she started saying stuff. She's like, hey, you know what, like, you know, when we meet up and go out, which most people decide whether or not they like they want to fuck, you know, off of a first date, right? And I'm like, it depends on the individual. I knew what she was telling me. She was telling me that she wants to fuck. I can't blame her. And I was not that I was dissing or anything like that too, but it's like she would bring up shit like, oh well, I'm waiting you to text me good morning. Like, why would I do that? I don't know you like that. Like why would I why would I text you good morning every day? Like, you don't rate that, you know? You know? And it's like, okay, cool, it's like whatever, right? And it was something else too. Uh where she was saying some bullshit, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then she accused me of being nonchalant. I'm like, I'm not nonchalant. I'm being myself because I don't think that what you want is not that it's not necessarily attainable, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you want all this, but um, what makes you think you deserve it from me? And she's like, what? I was like, yeah. It's like I'm not sending you good morning texts or good night texts or every fucking day. Like, go find another nigga to do that for you, cause it's not happening over here. Cause it wasn't. I just again I've always thought that was weird. It's like, why are you so concerned um with having somebody send you a good morning, or good night text every day? And mind you, we haven't even gone out on the first date, but she wanted all this shit, right? And I'm like, nah. I was like, no. It was like, whatever. So long story short, about a couple of days later, I'm out with some of my work buddies. I'm out with them, and I get a text message from her. Open up the text. I'm like, damn, okay. And a couple of my homegirls, they were like they see me look at the phone, like, oh, they're like, I'm looking at the phone like this, like, And they're like, what's up? And I showed them the text message, and they were like, and they were like, yeah, like she wanted you to chase her, and you wasn't doing that. I was like, I know, I know what she wanted me to do, but at the same time, she didn't rate that, you know. And and that's just how I am, man. It's like I don't feed into energy like that, because it's like, to me, it's like, okay, it's like, what do I look like doing all that when you don't necessarily, not that you don't deserve it, but what I look like pouring energy into a situation where you don't you haven't earned that. And I think that's what a lot of people fuck up at too. Is like, they put so much emphasis on a particular individual that they get wrapped up in it, and then when shit goes bad, because it always goes bad, they want to act a certain way about it, and you can't. Um, and it's sad too, because like, she was cute, but it just wasn't gonna work out. Um, and like, her life plan was different than mine and everything, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, it's whatever. But um, she made a big deal of the fact that she still lives at home, and that type of stuff, right? I'm like, I don't care if you do, because what does that have to do with anything? It doesn't have to do with anything. Because at that moment, we we weren't anything. We were just talking, and everybody puts a big deal about, oh yeah, well, so and so still lives home with his parents, this and this and that. I was like, bro, you realize where we stay at, right? We live in one of the most expensive, states in the world. Where I get daily Zillow with you alerts on my phone. $1,500, $2,000 a month in rent for a fucking 400 square bedroom apartment. What? And it's not like people out here making a shit ton of bread, bro. People making 40, 50, 60, $70,000 a year, and it's like you want them to spend you know, if all their money on rent per year, if you're making on the low end versus the high end, it's like, bro, it's like, no, it doesn't work that way, man. It's like, everybody wants to cast judgment, but it's like, yo, nobody asks questions, you know. I've been in situations where, because me myself, I still live at home, but then again, my situation's a lot different. Remember, this podcast started with the very first episode was me explaining very first couple episodes was me explaining what CP was. I literally have a whole month every year in March dedicated to what CP is, right? And I've had people tell me, well, I'm not used to, people living, still living home with their folks, this and this and that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, but what does it got to do with what we got going on? That has nothing to do with what we have going on. Because if that really was the case, a lot of you motherfuckers would not be fucking with these people that you fucking with simply based off their living conditions. Like, you wouldn't be doing that. Like, so don't sit there and tell me, oh yeah, well, X, Y, and Z, yada, yada, yada. No. If that was your only prerequisite to fucking with somebody or sleeping with somebody, you would not be sleeping with them. Think about it. If that was your only prerequisite for sleeping with somebody, that they have their own place, that they don't live at home, you would not majority of you motherfuckers would not be fucking. There's nothing to do with that. Women will seek out guys who they find attractive, guys they find sweet, guys they find, cool, whatever it is, guys who listen to them, guys who provide a safe space and accountability for that too. And that's what it boils down to, man. Like, to wrap this up, and I know it's been kind of a long-winded conversation, but what I notice is that a lot of women love to complain. Very, very few know how to take self-accountability for their actions. Very, very few of them do. I got a homegirl of mine. I don't know how she puts up with me, but she does. And she's the type of girl that, like, I can tell her something and she won't get offended by it, and she's like, oh, you're right. You know what I mean? It's like, she's like, it's my responsibility in certain situations to, to recognize the flaws and try to fix them, but I can only do certain things by my, I can only do so much, right? I was like, yeah, that's true. Like, you can't force somebody else to see your worth. You can't force somebody else to see, your value to them. And it's like, it's not going to happen, And a lot of people will stay put in situations, relationships, friendships, marriages, whatever it is, all three levels, and not realize that the people that you hang out with, the people that you sleeping with, the people that you're married to, they will either make or break you, And it's crazy to me how people don't recognize that. It's crazy to me how people will sit there and make excuses for this shitty behavior, or make excuses for X, Y, and Z, and the reality is like, it doesn't work because you don't work. It doesn't work because you don't want to take self accountability for your role in the situation, or even more importantly, your inaction to take action in the situation. I'm gonna say that one more time. You're in action to take action in the situation. And the more you realize that, the better off you'll be. Because as soon as you realize that you're in this situation because you put yourself there, you'll be better off. And a lot of people don't know how to, they don't know how to stop and look at the situation and realize that, oh, I created this situation. Okay, how do I end this, or how do I fix it? And if I have to end this, how do I get out from this clean? Because a lot of the times it just takes a conversation, man. And a lot of people don't want to have that conversation. And but yeah, like I said, this is a very long-winded podcast, and this is about 26 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping the 4 P's: private player, positive pushing. See y'all next week. Goes. Peace.